when we enter our bureaucratic organizational structures and they're asking us to report how many, how big, how far, they're asking about the nouns. You can write the noun on the form. Rarely do they ask about the verbs. This is important to keep in mind because nouns lend themselves to spreadsheets. Verbs do not. So there's a tendency to always be looking for the nouns. They're the things that the accountants can count. And we're steeped in these structures that emphasize the nouns and it's not that the verbs don't exist, they do, but they're not emphasized in the way that we report and we count and describe. Knowing that means that everything in our organization will be biased towards the nouns. And it's going to give our organizations blind spots because they neglect the verbs. The verbs are more expensive to describe than the nouns are to count. The more verbs are more difficult to capture than the nouns are to archive. And the verbs are always changing, where you have some possibility of permanence with the nouns. Our language tends to bias our organization to pay more attention to the nouns than it does to the verbs. The decision maker wants to make a decision and then it's made, and not revisit the decision and revisit the decision and revisit the decision. Perhaps there was a time when a commander wanted to give an order and then the order is executed, but then we figured out that doesn't work because everything is always changing. Nouns give us this illusion of a static world because we have a technology thinking about it in that way. But the fact is, the pyramids aren't the same as they were. I mean, what is that aphorism? You can never step in the same river twice because the water is always moving. The pyramids are always changing. Some things change more slowly than others. But this, our technology, gives us an illusion that things can be permanent and countable and static. And our organizational bureaucracies love that illusion. They're going to indulge in that illusion, even to the point of fantasy. We have a richer understanding of the way nouns and verbs empower us to change how we think about the world.